And this game decides who gets to finish the first round robin with the winning record and who gets to finish it with the losing record. I think, in particular, one thing that Immortals has done in the past week or two where they found a lot of their victories is simplifying. PowerOfEvil has played 3 Orianna games. I think they've done a lot of front-to-back team comps. And I think Revenge has also been fairly unlocked in this matchup. But also seeing the way that the top lane drafts have been going, I think that we're going to be seeing top lane save for the 5 pick, probably for the Golden Guardians. So it's going to be difficult for Revenge to have a good matchup up there.
And what comes alongside this one, because Pridestalker, I like him a lot on farm junglers. I think his instincts really are about optimizing camp count and then being ready to go. I know in the previous game, Golden Guardians, he was on the lethal tempo Udyr and managed to keep up with HEcarim, but also snag first dragon uncontested. And it's like, oh, well, you're getting more out of the early jungle, right? Like you've kept up farm plus an objective. Okay, good job here. So I do like him on really efficiency skewed champions. HEcarim certainly has some good team fighting as well. Tends to fall off compared to other junglers. Just at a certain point, you're still just like the ult bot, and eventually AD carries don't get killed by your dive. And you're not the same kind of frontliner as you know, some kind of other harder tank. So do want to get stuff done in the early mid game. Yeah,
and I really like the first 3 picks here from Golden Guardians. I think it makes a lot more sense than what ended up happening yesterday for them. It was a very weird draft that they played yesterday, where they banned 1/2 of the Aphelios Jinx, like handshake bottom lane. Aphelios was first picked by the opponent, and then Golden Guardians didn't take HEcarim on their 1/2, who I think a lot of people consider to be the best jungler on this patch after the Xerxe Gauge nerfs have taken down a lot of the other bruiser junglers. But now they have left open the other half of the Jinx Aphelios trade. I think the Thresh will make that a winning lane, and then I also think they have the advantageous jungle matchup, HEcarim versus Viego. So to me right now, they actually have a slightly stronger pushing bot lane and a stronger jungler in terms of what's been picked so far. So early advantage to Golden Guardians in that first half of the draft.
All right, draft looks good so far. Do you want to see? Yeah, honestly, I kind of favor everything we've seen so far. But Victor, Syndra off the table. PowerOfEvil still allowed the Orianna right now. So unless Golden Guardians are taking that on for themselves, PoE gets to play Ultimate Comfort unless AblazeOlive thinks he has a pocket counter pick ready to go.
I mean, honestly, I think the thing that stops PoE from playing Orianna every single game is oftentimes just PoE.
Bans. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say bans.
It is bans in like best of 5 series because I think it's his bread and butter. But a lot of times early on in the regular season, you don't want to turn that way. I just want to see him play it every game. If it's up, take it. It's one of the most generic mid lane champions. It's a decent matchup into Corki, at least when PoE is playing the Orianna. So I would hope they pick it right here.
All right, and decided that covering Victor and covering Syndra were more important to give AblazeOlive a good early lane. Certainly those are 2 stronger laners.
Yeah, Veigar is open as well.
Yeah.
But I still want to see Ori.
Haven't seen a PoE Veigar game yet this year. I think certainly it's the kind of champion that would fit for him. Yes, Orianna is completely surprising no one here. Orianna going to be locked in yet again, his 5th play on the year. Now, nearly doubling Victor at 3. Everything else is only a 1 of. So he's basically been a 2-trick so far this season. Again, in playoffs, BO5s, you know, will bans matter? Maybe so. But if Immortals can find wins now, I mean, getting into playoffs in the first place is always priority 1. I truly can never complain about a team saying, look, if it works, just play it. I mean, how many Aphelios games is Berserker on? No one's complaining about that one, right? Like, let him play the champs he's going to play. Graves in the top lane. We do get a Licorice counter pick here. Revenge was hoping, you know, hey, is he going to pick for me? No, okay, he's getting counter. Picks the Graves.
I think that's probably the most common blind. This is a funny bit of banter in pregame chat. Is anyone going to play Jace after that KR Jace performance? Yep. Probably not, but I would say, I was actually going to predict a Camille pick, but the Irelia is also another gauntlet thrown by Licorice. This was a matchup actually attempted against Summit by Someday yesterday, and the Graves side ended up winning that one, but I think this is definitely a flippy skill matchup you're going to have in that top lane.
And speaking of skill matchups, I ran into Revenge today at Makeup. We were both getting up at the same time because we're both on for Game 4. You know, surprise, we got Makeup at the same time. And I asked him about other top laners because I think he's been lane kingdoming a fair bit here in the LCS. Revenge has been doing really well. And he surfaced Summit and Licorice as the 2 scariest laners in the LCS. Those are the 2 that he picked out of the hat to see. These are the ones that I care about a lot. Said Licorice is, you know, a very good laner and then not going to do quite as well compared to that bar in the later game. Summit's is all around amazing. But, you know, certainly gives a lot of respect to Licorice in the one-on-one.
Yeah, also kind of want to point out that Arrow is starting his second game in a row.
Yeah.
We weren't sure who was going to be starting game 3, even though going into the weekend we knew that WildTurtle and Arrow were going to start games 1 and 2. So clearly Immortals saw enough that they like to give Arrow another go here, and I think we're set up for a really nice game here, Phreak.
I think it'll be really entertaining. I am a big fan of seeing all these teams. So much the bottom of the table has stepped up late. Again, both these teams 4-2 over the last couple of weeks, over the last 6 games. That's impressive. We saw CLG pick up 2 wins this week as well, right? A lot of these bottom-end tables, bottom-end teams have been picking wins back up, looking more impressive. I mean, we've got a soup right here around 4-5, 5-4 in the middle of the standings here. One of these teams is going to be one of those records, one's going to be the other. These are teams on a rise. Only one's going to get the victory here, but I mean, these are teams that are fighting right now for playoff position. I mean, the end of this game is the first round robin. Winning record, losing record, you got 9 more games to play, and then it's on to the cut.
The LCS soup analogy has just made a return.
Yeah.
That one is...
Thanks, Mark Z.
I think that's a 2018 reference from you right there.
Yeah.
Or what would that be, like a year 7 LCS? Now
Yeah.
year 10. And just to also further illustrate the standings point, the winner will be moving into a tie for 4th, which is pretty good for both of these teams after the first half. If they can just replicate that in the second half, I think when I was looking at these teams before the year, what success means would be playoffs for either one of these teams. And so far, both of them are actually on track for that.
Yeah, I will say I had Immortals as a top 6 team coming into preseason. I was a big fan of the roster. I didn't know Arrow's coming in, to be fair, but I look at these players and I'm like, I know Revenge is still climbing. I'm a huge Xerxe fan. I know Pee-wee's very, very good. And I'm like, hey, this is the roster that I think makes top 6. And, you know, they're on the way there, of course. Keep in mind, first place is 7-2. A win here is 2 games behind first. Like, that's so doable. You've got to, of course, keep playing better and better and better to, you know, reach the heights we've seen from, like, Cloud9 and TL. But, you know, that's the road for these squads. We'll see if it happens. PowerOfEvil here up against AblazeOlive.
Yeah, 4th Orianna game in a row for PowerOfEvil. And a brush stack here by Destiny and Arrow. If they are to get an upper hand in this lane, it would be about getting on top of Lost right away. If they don't, the Thresh auto attack range and the Thresh's ability to flay the Nautilus as Nautilus hooks will let kind of Thresh just have the push early on in this lane.
Yeah. Interesting choices here made as well, by the way. Guardian, not a bad choice here on the Thresh. We see several options, though, from him. Good sidestep. The hook predicted a juke down, but no. So Lost not going to be landed on. Destiny is on Aftershock. He needs to kind of be the front line. I think we've seen that mostly on Nautilus. His baseline durability is not high in that champion. Kind of needs that rune to function as a frontliner. Whereas Olleh, much more about kind of peeling, keeping the team alive.
I was also watching Arrow's stream last night in Champions Queue, and he ended up VOD reviewing his own LCS game. Mentioned how he just ran it down in laning phase. Like, he was really not happy with his laning performance in that one, so he's definitely going to be looking to step it up here against Golden Guardians.
Revenge on a walk around, gets the deep ward on a Krug, sees that it's down, knows that Pridestalker indeed started topside, full cleared, and it means Xerxe's going to find him. Level 3 on each, 3 camps done for both. Smite is up, and that's an easy steal. Xerxe comes in time, but now as Ghost is coming down, is it going to be a good chase? Keep in mind with red buff and Ghost, you get some decent damage. Xerxe may have to burn Flash, but the reinforcements are here in time. Arrow and Destiny able to move both as Aphelios is under tower getting waves. And so because Immortals had the wave pushed in, no flash force out of Xerxe.
Yeah, that's a very bold move. I think especially against Pridestalker, this might be something that Xerxe was thinking of before the game. Pridestalker probably full clears almost every game, so trying to disrupt that path. Viego versus HEcarim, when Viego ideally might be able to win like a level 3 if he lands all his spells, wants to get the steal, and as you say, like, if they don't have the push from Nautilus and Jinx, that doesn't work. So I think he just saw the lane states and decided to go for an invade, which allows him to cut off Pridestalker a little bit and get a very, very, very small edge.
It's really cool. There's a couple of really small factors that matter here. One of which is Xerxe's first clear is faster because he's doing Gromp not Krugs and Wolves not Raptor. So he's actually able to get to enemy Wolves by the time Pridestalker gets to his own Wolves, because the camps are more durable on Golden Guardian's side. And as you mentioned, right, the early pressure out of the bot lane means, oh, don't worry, you know, Nautilus Jinx will be there on time. This whole thing comes together. If you switch like what sides of the map these players are on, you don't get there in time to steal waves.
Little intricacies in the jungle. Ooh, nice hook.
Yeah, pretty good damage. Aftershock helping him survive it a lot. That was lost down to 200 HP, but back on Destiny. Ignite is on. That is a kill. That flash is useless.
Is it?
Oh my god, you're kidding. He regens enough. He survives the Ignite. He's only level 2. Thresh didn't level, so the Ignite didn't do enough damage.
It actually took Destiny to 1 health before the potion ticked him back up.
I thought he was 3. I thought it was level 3 Ignite.
If he was a fraction of a second later on his potion usage, he would also be dead. So extremely, you cannot get closer to having the first blood there. And I think Arrow and Destiny get away with one there. After he catches this wave, he will only be 5 CS down and actually 2 for 2 Summoner Spell trade down there.
All right, small gold lead to Immortals. We got that fight again. Yeah,
Okay.
What happened here?
Let's see what goes wrong, because Destiny does actually weave the hook around, but they do not chain the Jinx traps with the Nautilus hook, so they cannot get lethal onto Lost, and that means Destiny just has to straight up run away. And yeah, there you see the level 2 Ignite from Olleh. Doesn't tick level 3 until just after this, and yeah, the 1 health tick before he goes up to 6 and 12. That's close.
All right, well, that's the game state we are in. Gold leads bouncing back and forth. There's Golden Guardians now looking at plus 61. Both junglers were passing towards the bottom side. No recall for Pridestalker. She never got a buy off, so a Sheen and a Longsword gives Xerxe more power, but as he's sitting on a ward, there's not going to be a play for the Dragon, so it looks like it's going to be a claim easily for Golden Guardians. Both bot laners able to get Noon Quiver here, but yeah, no play to be had. So even though Xerxe is on the map with more power, nothing comes of it. Dragon gets picked up. Golden Guardians now twice in a row. Just Pridestalker on a hard farm. Comes in for his second clear with the bot lane, grabs Dragon.
Yeah, and he's going to have a pretty good buy after he finishes this Grump. Really no harm done thus far. And the wave state is actually also good. Oh, that's a big hook, though.
Flash just in time. Chalmers would have been on top of that one. Olleh barely slinks away, because I think that would have been lethal. Enough damage coming through that they might have had to follow through. But end of the day, just a flash burn. Still a very close game.
Yeah, and I want to talk briefly about Golden Guardians as well, because we spent a lot of time on Immortals. This is a team that has had a actually pretty up and down week. They beat TL. Yeah. AblazeOlive had that amazing pop-off 1v3 against TL. Got to stop for a second, because when Irelia is 6, things get exciting.
We're okay.
But then yesterday, AblazeOlive had a really poor game, got solo killed by Jojo Pune under his turret with just a misplay on Rise, then had insult to injury as Hai and Jojo broke down the laning phase afterwards. To talk about his poor play. You can't really show that much Corki versus Orianna early on, but if he keeps his farm up and has big impacts with packages and team fights, I think he can redeem himself from that performance yesterday.
Yeah, confidence definitely a big factor, right? I mean, he has the crush game where he's kind of carrying against TL on the Rise, and then, okay, giving it back. Right, I'm feeling good. I'm the king of Rise. Let's go. And yeah, I guess kind of embarrassed there. I think it was like 0-4-0 at the end of the game. Like had a very little impact. Now very low. Has to flash away. Second time in a row now, flashing away from his own tower around level 6.
PoE got him with a perfect shockwave. It was slightly late on the Valkyrie away, so when the shockwave pulls you in while you're trying to Valk, you're in a really bad spot, and PoE was just laying on the damage. I actually wonder. PoE's taken 3 different runes in his first 3 Orianna games. This is his first double up of the first strike rune. If he had to conquer Orianna, if he actually kills there because of the stacked up AP, I don't know.
You get 8% more damage with the first strike, so I feel like
if it was up.
Yeah, sure.
If he was trading before then, there's a good chance the rune wasn't up.
Then his poke would have been better. Who knows?
Yeah,
it's a tough call. Yeah. It's a tough one to look at, but yeah, there's always interesting kind of looks in the math here, but isn't the first strike play? Is Pridestalker just, again, on the full clear? And there's one thing that he's done a lot. I like identifying patterns for teams and players. Pridestalker very much seems to like pathing towards bot, catching his entire jungle on his third clear, and just kind of, rotating through the buffs as well, and just playing, as much for Gold Income as possible. Tends to work well when he's on a damage-focused champion. You can see with the Sheen here, this is likely to be a Trinity Force build out of the HEcarim, which I think is... It is close, to be fair, with Chemtank. I think you can kind of go either way.
Yeah.
I like fighter builds, but obviously he has plenty of damage push from his team.
Yeah, I think Sunderer is a big possibility as well. A little more bruiser focus for HEcarim, we shall see. Hex
Ooh,
Flash.
nice. Hex Flash hook. We know there's no flash. Valk is something. Shockwave not back up, so AblazeOlive able to walk away to safety. Did rush a Hex Drink for extra durability, pretty useful in that fight.
Yeah, extremely useful in Shockwave, as you mentioned, not quite up for PowerOfEvil right now, but the pings are coming down onto the Rift Herald. Bad timing with Lost in his guns. I love the timing of Pridestalker's roam.
Yeah, and he's still going to ult in for this one. Can he get around behind him? Not quite. He wasn't back up anymore, but the preemptive flash, he was like, uh-oh, what is Olleh going to have? Now, Olleh's flash was down, so it wasn't needed right away, but at least Arrow survives. However, it is 2 plates down to the bottom lane, an entire wave lost to the Jinx, and it's still 3v2, so she has to hide from this one as well.
Yeah, how much pressure can they actually get here? They know that Xerxe is not here to cover, but with Arrow being that high health and no HEcarim ult, they can't push him off the wave. If they would have gotten that kill, that might have been like a 4-plate type trade. With it being the way it is, it actually ends up being a bit of a wash.
And instead, Immortals get something else on the other side of the map. Yes, 2 plates. 2 plates is the expected value of the Herald summon that Xerxe took down. Mid lane, not really under much threat. Top lane, I believe, I can't tell if that's a 3 or a 5, actually. That might actually be a very injured top lane turret. I can't quite tell, but thank you, observers. It is a 5. All right, it is a 5. So 1 plate down in mid, no pressure down in the bottom lane. So sadly, we're not going to probably see first turret out of the Herald summon. No one's been lane by hard enough. But we'll see if they can get some kind of, roam in a gank. Like PoE walks up top, they go for a shockwave dive, Xerxe dives in. That's a kill in a tower if it happens.
Yeah, what's interesting though is it is very tricky for them to lock Licorice down if they don't have, I'd even say like a Nautilus moving up there. If Licorice like overplays his hand and pushes too far up on the wave, he'd be in trouble. But like with where he has the wave positioned right now, he's chilling. He's under almost no danger, even though he doesn't have any wards. And I kind of think Golden Guardians is just going to prep for this upcoming Hextech Drake and try and start stacking those.
And of course, Irelia trying to get that Blade of the Ruin King on. It's a great power spike to hit. Did get more expensive, but a lot more powerful a couple patches ago when the fighter items were updated. And I mean, that is just a great power spike because, if you land like the ult slow or something, when that ult times out is about when you land the Ruin King slow from getting 3 ult stack off. And you just, even if they dodge the stun, and I've watched a couple of these Graves Irelia matchups, Graves tends to hold his E for when does the second dagger come down. And if Graves paying attention, he will dodge the stun every time. It's like really hard to guarantee the stun as Irelia, but slow into slow is so many autos you win anyway.
Anytime, yeah, Irelia is just, he just dodges it.
Yeah.
This is a pretty good game state for Golden Guardians right now, actually. They have been able to maintain their bot prio for most of it. Even though AblazeOlive did have to flash away, he didn't end up dying, has only lost 1 plate there. And unless Xerxe can get a nice Herald off, those 2 Drakes they've gotten are, I think, 2 of the better Drakes to get, just from a raw stat perspective, even though it is pretty minor. But late game Corki and Aphelios coming in, they're pretty comfortable. Just a Herald drop mid.
Yeah, not going to find the second plate as the Orianna. I don't believe that the Herald charge will actually kill 2.5. So it is not the, the third plate getting grabbed and going over. A couple hundred damage missing as the waves were cleared enough. PoE didn't play, I'm not saying incorrectly, but didn't play, riskily enough to find another plate just yet. 2 minutes ago till plates drop. We'll see if he can find another one with some damage. Is walking up with the wave, so, may get those 3 autos off that he needs to get another 160 gold. Ooh, Shockwave, good damage, but again, not a kill. We've seen Corki rush Hexagram every single game in every AP matchup. The item got buffed. I think it's just kind of objectively correct. Like, yeah, you're delaying your like Manamune power spike or whatever, but it's so much power. I think you just can't give that up.
I agree. It also just takes you below burst thresholds most of the time. I will say, I actually completely agree with that Rift Herald usage mid lane. The flowchart that I like to have is if you can break a turret with Herald, always do that, which oftentimes is going to be a bot or top lane. If not, use it mid, because that's a very important turret to break.
Gotta
but
dive.
Slow.
Has to flash the ult. The Licorice plays it well. As the ult times out, as the slow times out, throw the ult, throw another slow at him, force the flash away. Well done.
It's exactly the power spike you talked about as well. Blade of the Ruin King, 3 autos, get the slow, go in. So well played there by Licorice, and also Revenge has to respect the ult with the flash. That's just how the matchup kind of has to be played if he wants to be able to farm.
Yeah, so your flowchart, if it's not killing an entire turret, it's just always go mid for damage?
Yeah, for a Rift Herald.
Makes sense.
Because then also if you get second Rift Herald, it'll break.
Right, and then you crack over mid, and that feels really good.
Yeah.
It's like very easy to shepherd into mid tier 2, of course. If they're not paying any attention, you kill the entire tower. Yeah, feels pretty good. Bot lane turret will fall, though. Golden Guardians pretty much in the heads up 2-on-2. There has been some jungle tension, to be fair. Pridestalker ulted, of course, to flash away, but 2.1 versus 2. Golden Guardians take the entire bot lane turret. 2 dragons to 0. In the meantime, Licorice is chilling up there, 18 CS in the lead.
Absolutely. And he's definitely trying to threaten a kill, but will end up just bouncing the turret here as he has a very farming HEcarim, which is not a problem. 117 CS, 14 minutes into the game is quite efficient. The focus of the game here for Immortals, actually, I think, is just playing around PowerOfEvil. Looking at the control wards they have set up, they have one offensive control ward up at the top left of your screen right there, and there's a defensive control ward basically in the mirrored brush on their side, so he can play very aggressive up towards the left and be pretty safe in most situations. Also knowing that they dropped the Herald early, if he just gets one good chunk onto AblazeOlive, who's now down a TP, that'll be that turret, and it'll be an injection of gold that they need as they're kind of getting bled out a bit in the side lanes.
So he's getting cleared around. And yeah, Golden Guardians still trying to, bleed their opponents dry at this point. Herald soon, under 1 minute till it summons up. Dragon in 1.5. That'll be putting Golden Guardians on soul point very early on.
Yeah.
16 minutes. Like, that is a 22-minute Dragon Soul. Immortal's going to have to find a way to fight by that point in time if it keeps going this way. So a very short clock if this is the way it's going to keep going here. Golden Guardians had always had, or almost always had, exceptionally good early games. Couldn't always get them over the line. And this team could have been 6-2 right now. They had, I think, 2 throws where they were so far ahead early and couldn't get it over the line. And, could have been a chance at 7-2. Now as AblazeOlive once again forces Valkyrie away, holds it during the shockwave, says, okay, I'll just take the damage. Again, very tanky with the Hex Drinker. Now Dragon up in 55 seconds, but Herald's going to be up sooner.
It's going to be difficult for AblazeOlive to get a good recall timing so they can have the right setup on Dragon. Their benefit is that they have the Irelia pushed up very far in the bot side. And Immortals is actually, they're thinking about this move for Rift Herald. I don't think they can do it.
Well, Graves alone in the bottom lane does have TP, so Revenge can join if needed. Is Licorice walking up is the answer, because he is. And
it's Licorice's
does he find
turn.
A flank? Does he find a big play? A stun? Careful, he's going to be stunned up by the Viego. Does he have a way out? He's got no tanks. That's the Ruin King only. Ult comes across, tries to lifesteal. Flash to safety. Flash hook comes in, the chase down. First blood to destiny. He is everywhere, true to his name, and he finds one with a red buff.
Wow, what a turn of events. Licorice just goes up a little bit too far, because the idea of that is actually sound. He had the bottom lane pushed, so it was his turn to move mid, and they could have had a numbers advantage if they collapsed together, but the rest of Golden Guardians actually just started Rift Herald while Licorice was moving, and everyone on Immortals collapsed down to get the kill. That is a big turn in this game, getting him shut down, and also stopping the Dragon stacking.
And now we got to measure the results of that play, because Revenge is alone, taking 2-3 waves, taking the bottom turret here as well. Herald instantly summoned to go for top lane tier 2. Okay, great, but turrets basically answered. Top outer and bot hour both die. Herald got some decent damage, but of course Dragon went over, and it feels like, Immortals got bailed out from a pretty rough early game here. CS back to equal in the top lane. Revenge with that turret. It's going to be pretty rich.
Yeah, and you can see he's like fishing for a good flank, but the rest of his team is just not on the same page. Thresh and HEcarim are up by the Rift Herald. He did have flash this whole time, ends up using it to get over the wall, but nice flash followed by Destiny to secure the kill.
Attempt on Olleh, but no one else is in range for the CC. Oh, a decent ult all the same. Now PoE and DJ has to flash away, but a ghosted Pridestalker does not chase any farther. Probably couldn't get in range for the ulti, so decides not to go for anything, but of course PoE was defenseless and out of defensive tools at that point in time. Check back into the game. 1 Dragon lead, 2,000 gold, still puts Golden Guardians ahead. They have definitely just farmed so much better, because keep in mind, right, the turret score is equal, but hey, back to 20 CS lead for the Irelia in the top lane, 20 CS lead for the jungler as well, bot lane, 30, so looking pretty good.
Yeah, both these teams sticking to the fundamentals about as much as they can. Revenge very respectful of Licorice's kill pressure on Irelia. Both bot lanes have now moved into mid lane, and here we go.
They know he's flashed, so Volt's going to land there as well, but Aftershock gives him a lot of durability, a little bit more damage coming across. Ignite is on, Licorice shows up, Pridestalker takes the kill, and now PoE going to not find the shockwave. AblazeOlive side still has a flashback to safety though, and the re-engage looks good. Xerxe finds the kill on the Licorice. That means he can go for more, finds the stun, Q's forward, a smite to run farther, but it's still going to be picked up. A 2-1 team fight for Immortals.
Try and do something, and they end up getting burned. Olleh goes in over the wall, the TP comes down for Immortals, and the long fight falls in their favor. A lot of patience, it felt like, from Immortals in that one, waiting a little bit until PoE and Xerxe could find the engage. Another big fight win when they've been down in CS in both side lanes. Watch it one more time.
Yeah. All fog, and the first bit looked so good, right? This is like such a nice hook by Olleh. The sweeper see him, it doesn't. He's just a pure guess.
And you can see Irelia's moving up river, so they think they're going to have the numbers advantage, but PoE actually teleports from base, and even though they get the kill, It's actually the chase after. The HEcarim ult is pretty much burned on nothing.
Irelia and HEcarim.
Yeah, they have nothing left after only killing a support, which gives Immortals the go button to fight back, and a really nice flash stun connects onto Pridestalker there.
Yeah. Oh, that's rough because, yeah, it's not identifying that, like, there's a team fight coming.
Yeah.
The 2 HP Nautilus is not going to do much. Burning 2 ults on that, and yeah, it's coordination, right? If only one ults, that kill's always coming through, and then the other one can be held, but not having anything for the re-engage, like, that's so meaningful. It really gets so much damage out of getting a 4-stack ulti. You get all the Qs, you trigger the marks, you lifesteal back up. It means so much, and oh, that is a rough look. But hey, well done to Immortals. They do collapse, they do win the fight, and now it feels like the tempo's with them, right? 3-1 in kills over the last couple of minutes. They got the last dragon here as well, and now looking to set up a trapper on top side. Pridestalker, ulti is up, so we can ult away from anything scary. Olleh now, the rest of the squad, actually all 5 here for Golden Guardians. Licorice tries to maybe bait it. They're coming. You were just here a second ago. Where's the squad? Puts the ulti down, gets away from the CC. Wants it. A stun, but doesn't dive in. His team's a bit too far away. They're finally back. Oh, but just disjointed. Right as Golden Guardians leave, Licorice finds the opening, and they're not in range to help.
Well, that was definitely one of those things where Licorice did, like, much better than expected. And I think Golden Guardian was like, oh, maybe we could help out, but by no means was the plan. Like, let's let him outplay a 1v3 dive and then collapse.
Yeah.
So it ends up just being a reset for both teams. Lost and Revenge were Aphelios versus Graves in mid, also just kind of like handshaking that way. Let's see if
Viego's a much easier target. They're going to find the CC and just absolutely deletes him. That's when you want to land the crowd control. Well done. The pick on a Xerxe. Drag it up in 45. He'll recall and be able to walk or respawn and be able to walk just in time. Golden Guardians likely to find Soul Point if they can get the setup.
Olleh is a man who's not deterred by failure. Blind hooked once in the brush next to the river, dies. This time, let's just blind hook again, get another pick. It's a huge for the setup on this Drake here as well. Going to be very difficult for Immortals to contest. I don't expect them to even really move into river, but we'll have to see because Golden Guardians is ready to pounce if Immortals tries to contest here.
This is a weird ping. They're pinging towards top tower. I mean, PoE is nowhere near pushing that one in. You could see the wave stay at equilibrium. It says, yeah, we don't see Orianna there. I think Corki has package, I'm not certain, but still kind of hanging around in the mid lane. Might fight for the next wave as well. The TP coming in, so PoE is here for mid lane. Xerxe coming through the jungle now as well. A couple of will spot the movements. They can see the entire team coming. They could burn this.
They got to burn it.
Olleh gonna play the brush. AblazeOlive does a package. This could be a fight. Hook not gonna land on the right target. Destiny pulls in one package, separates the squad. That is a lot of damage, but Shockwave finds Pridestalker, and that dive does not work. Immortal's able to walk away with flashes and find one in return.
They might just turn to Baron here. It is a dead jungler, no Thresh ultimate. They at least want to threaten this. Let's see. I think they're going to have to turn off of this. It's about whether or not Destiny can land a hook and the team can turn. He's on a ward, though.
9k health. Hex Flash gets over the hook, goes in on a Nautilus. They're going to just delete Olleh. It's a 5v3 now. Looks even better. Xerxe going to finally hook. Xerxe can do absolutely everything. 3 unanswered kills. Immortals go again. Back to the Baron.
What a turn there. Destiny at first, and after the Thresh hook from Xerxe. They're still burning this. Olive's trying to poke, but there's not much he can do.
This is absolutely his. The rocket's mostly missing, gets a little bit of damage, but it's not going to matter. Immortals coming alive. They may be facing Soul Point, but they got a Baron, and that's a whole lot better.
What a close game this is, Phreak. Destiny right there. Like, the margins in this game are so slim. He's sitting on a ward. Olleh fake hooks forward, knowing he's hooking left, but the Hex Flash actually jumps over it, and he's the one who gets the pick on Olleh. Anything goes a little bit differently there. The hook goes a little earlier. Olleh just walks up and flays to interrupt the Hex Flash. Destiny's dead, and that follow-up kill on a loss can't happen. Immortal stops Baron, but the margins are in Immortal's favor. They get the 2 kills. That's got to be the 3rd or 4th engage they have turned around onto Golden Guardians, and they have squeaked their way to a 1,000 gold lead. We got plenty of game left, Phreak.
And it keeps happening, and Golden Guardians have amazing early games, and then somehow it fails them. This is, I think, the 3rd game where it's like they really could have taken over the game and just controlled it the whole way through, and something keeps happening. Little miscoordinations, little misplays, and Immortals looking for the 3-0 week.
Yeah, even the first 3 picks we saw in Draft Phreak, Aphelios, Thresh, that's going to have push on the Jinx Nautilus. But if Jinx Nautilus gets to late game, the Nautilus will be stronger in team fights. PowerOfEvil's Orianna versus Corki. Everyone knows Corki's an insane team fighter, but PowerOfEvil's Orianna is just clutch. He's so good at finding the right shockwaves to turn these fights around, and he's done it again and again.
Try again.
And now Golden Guardian's going for revenge.
Revenge a good target, not anymore, because Xerxe's got his back. Pridestalker kites away and runs all the way back. Jinx rocket sent across the map. Arrow doesn't find the target, but they do find the bottom inhibitor turret. Gold lead grows to 2.5 thousand. We know Dragon's still a play in 2 minutes. I think if that gets somehow claimed, you wipe with a gold lead, and it feels pretty good again for Golden Guardians. Equate the one to maybe about, I would say 3,000 to 4,000 gold is what a Dragon Soul's worth to me in a scoreboard, but right now, though, it's still just all about Immortals getting everything done. Baron's still on for a full minute. Bottom inhibitor falls. Ripple Baron power play, 2,800 so far.
Item power spikes are going to be really important coming into this next Drake if Golden Guardians is able to contest. They have really good Corki items right now. If they can actually play a fight slow and get control of mid back again to maybe move into this Ocean Soul, because they're 2,000 gold down, they're an inhibitor down, but if they get the Ocean Soul, I think they would then consider themselves in the lead. So important that they keep their heads in the game here, and you wonder if Immortals is going to continue playing this like very good reactive style, or if they're going to think they're much further ahead and start really trying to force their way. Looks like they're trying to force up top.
All right, here we go, but it's a 2-on-2. Pridestalker is here. It's going to be a walk away as the teleport comes in. PowerOfEvil hit a reinforce. They're going to find the stun. Destiny going to get all the lockdown, but they're giving a flash shockwave, still hooked into place. Gets a heal, not going to matter. Another one picked up. 7-2. Immortals doing no wrong in the mid game.
Oh, he gets
another hook lands. Olleh, not long for the world. Goodbye, Blast Plant. Actually lets him get away from this one. PoE flash finds the cube, finds the dissonance. Thank you very much. 3,700. Immortals just keep taking more.
Things a little off for Olleh. There was about a second delay of him hitting that Blast Plant. Stalls enough so PoE can get him with that flash follow, and they are just putting their foot down, exploding this lead to 5,000 now. That Dragon is pretty much off the table now for Golden Guardians. It's about how much can Immortals take.
I mean, maybe more. This is going to be pretty much a freebie on the Dragon.
Another Hex Flash
Should
probably.
be pretty uncontested. No one's going to be easily hooked as the minions were there in time. You timed it with your wave coming in. This is when the enemy wave comes in as well. So not going to matter just yet, but we count down the 10 seconds. Yes, the respawns are in, but it feels like Golden Guardians have to lick their wounds for a while and give us one up and try again in 2 minutes when the Baron setup starts.
Yeah, it's a feels bad to give up this Drake, but they really don't have any other options. If they tried to blindly walk in to the jungle, they would just be giving up their Nexus a minute later. So it's what they have to do, and I think it's safe to say Immortals does have command of this game now.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bigger lead than I think Golden Guardians ever had. You know, they had a couple thousand gold, sure, but 4,500 at this point feels pretty amazing. You're going to be items up almost everywhere. We've got a stopwatch for Arrow. He's not an easy pick anymore. Well, nearly to 3 items now on Revenge. He's got a bit of Grievous Wounds just in case for his further 1v1s against Licorice, but 2-level lead, by the way, for the top lane. Yeah, you can see 2,500 was indeed the limit. We've almost doubled that here on the Immortals camp. And we're just gonna wait for the next big play. It's probably around this Baron, 1 minute 14 until it spawns. This is kind of the timer, right? Okay, it's 1 minute and change. Get the recall soft, get ready to ward for this. Plays all the holds on the package, right? It only lasts for 1 full minute, so once it's beyond that, once it's a 2-digit number, then you grab it, then you play for the play.
So we take the last 12 minutes, and it's been plus 7,500 for Immortals. Every fight has been going in their direction, and I think for Golden Guardians, it's about being able to reset. They're trying all these hard engages with Olleh where he's getting these blind picks and they're flying in. That's not how they can fight these. They need to get AblazeOlive to land a few rockets on someone. Then Licorice needs to try and get a flank. But the problem is now his curve is ruined. He was up on the Graves. Now he's down 2,500 gold. So Licorice can't actually get a side lane pushing and then flank from the side. So it's even more difficult for Golden Guardians to get a big play.
Well, there's the first hook of the stopwatch force. Can they get the rest of it to happen, though? Is it the damage they need? Down below 1,000, but gets a shield. Hooks right back in. Is that a deletion? An ulti away from HEcarim, but it is a shot. PoE, they found PoE. A solo kill for AblazeOlive. A second in for Lost as well. And is that going to be enough? He lands the shot. A double kill in. Golden Guardians lost a raid. Erase it from your memory. A team fight victory with Baron available.
And multiple shutdowns for Lost. That's going to give him enough to get Infinity Edge and likely make them a stronger 5v5 team. But the moment now is trying to get Baron.
That stopwatch is huge. They need the reinforcement. He buys enough time to make it happen. This should be 2 more kills. This should be an absolute ace. Baits him in. Look at the carrot on the string. Turns out it's made of gold. The Bud Light ace, the Baron and Golden Guardians are back.
What a turn of events! They win the early game, they lose the mid, and now the late is back in their favor. An overstay contest by Xerxe and Arrow right there, trying to make the best of a bad situation. Credit to Golden Guardians for keeping their heads in this fight. They do get the hook, but notice how they don't immediately all in, like they had in their previous fights. The shockwave misses, and then they decide to go in. Look at this. AblazeOlive just valks forward and blows PowerOfEvil up. Then Lost, look at the snipe onto Destiny. Look at the second snipe he gets onto Revenge. Green gun mastery here, getting 2 kills from 1,000 range plus. Both of them shutdowns. Huge inflection of gold. They carry the fight on. He still has the stopwatch, which baits the second engage for Immortals, and that's how they get the ace.
That's really intelligent, though. Sees Shockwave miss. I think he saw another Q out of PoE and goes, that is a no-clue on Orianna. She has no gameplay left. I can always take this fight. Very, very smart. Those plays, I mean, it is so easy to flame a player for like, oh, what an overstep. Like, killed himself.
Sure.
It's very easy to say, oh, a player misplayed and died. It is hard to identify a misplay when you fail to take a kill. Because, oh, 0-0, nothing happened, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, how many people are like, oh yeah, Orianna had no cooldowns. Of course you flashed into her.
Just be aggressive.
Just be aggressive, Forehead. But people don't always identify those missed plays.
Yep.
I'm happy to see AblazeOlive identify that PoE was free.
Destiny's really looking here.
And no easy hooks. Pridestalker kind of marking for his team. Like, if you hit me, I still come out, I start ult, and we immune it, and we get out, right? At the very worst, it's going to be that. So money has been spent. You mentioned IE is in. And Dragon Soul in 45 seconds.
No stopwatch left on Lost, though. Arrow does have his own, but he's short the IE. It almost feels like now PoE's going to have to land a big shockwave to make a fight matter here. I don't even think they can get the waves in a spot to contest this Ocean Soul. They do have a ward at blue buff, where maybe they would try and teleport behind with one member. PoE, they both double TP to the bot wave, so okay, they're going to try and get push in bot, which should allow them to enter the bot side of River, and I think they're going to try and just eye contact this Dragon. They are not giving this up for free.
And keep in mind, if they win the fight, bot inhib's already down, one next turret is already down. If you've got bot pushing and you win the fight, you just end the game, Dragon Soul or not. The smite's not important, the champion kills are. True. Bot is a point of power, a great blue trinket spots Licorice, he's got a blast plant. I don't think they hit it in time. So they need the ball actually on the plant to kill the plant to get one of the escape angles. You can see they're kind of waiting around. There's a control ward, there's the ward.
Yeah, if Licorice could do this again, he'd be mid-pushing, but they're just going to have to force this fight.
Down to half HP already. Jinx rocket as well. Licorice doesn't get hit by the ulti, would have died, so the chase down could be enough. Ulti's in, runs away for his life. Look at the 4v4, though. There's still a fight going on. Licorice does have TP. Golden Guardians need to buy some time.
Yeah, he'll be back.
Dragon resets, down to 4K.
This is fine for them.
2 ults down, by the way, right? 2 ults down for Immortals. No Jinx, no Graves. Back on the map, ready to play. Gets the smite, gets the take. That's Dragon Soul without Pridestalker, ults the shockwave, and now Destiny doesn't have a good way out. Rocket's gonna miss. That was maybe crucial, but they get out. Golden Guardians grab the soul. They have no casualties, and they're now even farther ahead.
Wow, mission success, really. Even though it was a bit of a stray path to get there, really slim margins. I think Licorice got hard chunked on the side of the fight, nearly disaster, but the fact that he still had the TP to get back at full health made it so Immortals didn't want to hard commit in for that fight. And now, even though 10 minutes ago the game was in command of Immortals, I think you gotta say it's in command of Golden Guardians. GA completed for Lost, Corki's online, but most importantly, they have the soul. That's never gonna go away for them.
Count it. Again, I put it 3,000 to 4,000 gold, based on comp, right? Based on how much Grievous wounds you have in this case, of course, but a Dragon Soul I think is pretty easily pegged in, you know, that kind of world with the stats. So you say, okay, it looks like kind of a 5,000 goldie. That's what it feels like to me for Golden Guardian. Certainly gonna feel good, but, you know, hey, if you one-shot, right? Shockwave and a Jinx rocket kills you beyond 80 health per second Ocean Drake regen, right? Like, that's so irrelevant if you're gonna get bursted instantly, and those tools are there. It's 4 damage champs in Heart CC from Destiny, who gets found out, gets the recall stopped, hooked in place. That man is just dead again.
what can they do with this numbers advantage? That is really the engage for Immortals down. They should be able to get top and mid pushing at the same time. At the very least, they'll get that turret down in top lane, and it's just a matter of not getting caught out elsewhere, because anywhere they can get a 5v4 fight, they're going to win.
Slowly but surely, waves are getting pushed in. Corki, Shepherd's in top wave. This is going to be a freebie for the tower, uncontestable. It's 5v4 with a gold deficit after all, so of course it goes to Golden Guardians. They were doing his best to clear the waves out, waiting a long time to get to his next item. Went for the BT because he's against some poke, right? Needed to survive Corki rockets, although to be fair, he's been out of range of most of them. But it's a more expensive item than, say, a Phantom Dance or even a Lord Dominic, so he's on Lord Dominic's third, and at this point is kind of missing a crucial damage item, right? Like, he went for a more defensive build path. He got no attack speed in the build, which means his rocket damage is very, very low. And, I mean, unfortunately, I understand going lifesteal because of Corki, but Arrow just does not have anywhere near the DPS that Lost does.
Yeah, we were talking about this in the previous game as well, like, a lot of variation in AD carry build paths, whether or not we're seeing Bloodthirster second, whether or not seeing the Zeal second, if we're seeing Lord Doms come in before an IE, and what's the math going to be right there.
Yeah.
I think he probably saw the Frozen Heart on HEcarim and thought, I need the armor pen, but it's just going to make him less effective overall in these team fights. And Licorice has the position. Can Golden Guardians get the fight?
Spotted. Here comes the dive on in. Decent fear, decent damage on a Destiny as well. Aftershock gone, gets the Lockout Shield, stays alive for now. Lost a half HP. Mark Xerxe, they're going to try again. They find one. Jinx is down. PoE's going to drop as well. This could be it. There's no wave, and Immortals could cut it. You can see Xerxe immediately runs towards mid lane. Can he get this one? Can he keep his base alive?
He just wants to get the wave.
And he can't. They realize what's going on. Of course, with the Shroud, they know it as well.
Someone's got to get the wave, because it's 45 seconds still on PoE.
And they can try, but Revenge. No ulti. Q's not that long range. They're pushing in the waves. He's going to try again, and AblazeOlive kind of spots it happening.
Here?
Hex Flash play over the wall. Revenge going to try. They're going to look for the hook. They're going to land the hook, but there's no one to range for the damage. Xerxe going to try. Xerxe does have the ultimate. It can stopwatch. It's immune. And they're going to find the damage out, but no, they just delete the poor man. Down goes AblazeOlive. Is that going to be enough? It's 4v3. 12 seconds on Arrow. 4v3. 8 seconds on Arrow. Nexus number 1 falls. Turret number 2 in the sight. 3 seconds for Arrow. It's going to be 4v4. Here comes the team fight. Revenge rooted in place. Revenge, will he die? Yes, they find one. Collected by Aphelios. And here come the respawns. It's going to be Arrow trying to make this fight happen as they kill a second one as well. The jungler now dead as well. Destiny in the front line. They get PoE now back. Pridestalker gets kited back. He gets pulled in with the lantern. And it's going to be a retreat, it looks like. 4v3. Will they get the stun? No. Arrow kites it, but Arrow will be slowed. Arrow will be dove upon it. They sidestep the ult. They sidestep everything. And now PoE left alone. Gets nothing done and will die. Golden Guardians 5-4 in the first round robin.
What a game, Phreak. Woo! Back and forth and back again. Ocean Soul Golden Guardians with the clutch play moves to 5-4 and ends the first round robin with a winning record.
Tied for 4th. Golden Guardians presently in playoff position. Roster came together late. The Academy squad played in lock-in. They came together to start the spring split. Loss after loss to start it out as well, but they start picking it back up, and well done to win 5 of the last 7. In playoff position, Golden Guardians tied for 4th. And yeah, to come back in, because that was the monkey on their back, right? We have good early games, and then we enter the mid game, man. And that's the interviews. Like, we heard AblazeOlive talk about it after TL, where he said, yeah, you know, we just like owed it to ourselves to like actually finish these games and like pay off our early leads. And it's like, oh, it's happening again. But the comeback was huge.
Yeah. So bad news is they still enter the mid game.
Yes,
good news is they still made the 10-foot putt afterwards to save par. So they were able to get the win, and overall that mid-game mess-up is not going to feel as bad, and I think they're going to have a lot of positive energy to attack that in this upcoming week of scrims. I actually really do like this slight tweak to the format, having the Super Week at Week 4 to be a clean halfway point. I think gives these teams a way to assess what they have done throughout the first half of the split, and with the goals that Golden Guardians have stated, large coaching staff, long view of how they're going to be trying to improve, things are looking good. And that's with like a lot of losses that you could end up feeling really bad about. So I think they have a ton to feel hopeful about going into the second round robin.
Yeah, which is exciting to see. Of course, you know, the roster they built a few years ago, right? Grad goes to 100 Thieves, and within a year and a half, right, they have built a winning team again. Huge shout out to the scouting, huge shout out to the front office for getting another good team together. Golden Guardians, well done. They bounced back after yesterday's loss to finish their Super Week strong, which means it's Licorice talking with Latagris in our Verizon postgame interview.